The enterprising spirit of the American entrepreneur. It forms the fabric of our communities and grew the nation. Henry Ford, the Wright brothers. The American imagination is the mother of invention. With a good idea and a lot of determination, there is nothing we cannot accomplish. But when those dreams are guided by ambition and power, they can lead to nightmares.
I think it's greed.
This is the story of Terry McAuliffe, entrepreneur.
I've done little deals, I've done million-dollar deals.
His trade, politics, power, and cash.
We need that money back. You know, that money should be returned to the people.
McAuliffe is known as a showman, a native New Yorker with a knack for raising big bucks for liberal politicians. He sold access to the Lincoln bedroom. McAuliffe's thirst for cash at every turn landed him the top job at the Democratic National Committee. Nothing was off limits when it came to money.
Where is it going? In someone's pocket. But whose pocket? I mean, is that what's funding this man's career?
Give money. Bring your cash. Write another check.
Terry will hit up anybody for cash.
You bet.
Even reporters. You have no shame, Terry.
Now McAuliffe promises jobs. Will Virginians get left in the cold?
We will create jobs, thousands of jobs.
Several thousand employees.
2,000 jobs, thousands of new jobs.
Hope to hire about 5,000 people.
It was McAuliffe who promised full factory operation and 900 jobs by the end of 2012. To date, no factory has been built.
Virginia officials say they were dubious of your plan in the first place.
And as we speak, 3 cargo ships are full of our equipment, which will be our first plant in Tunica, Mississippi.
Terry, Terry, Terry.
We didn't need anyone to come and make the pain worse. And that's what Green Tech has done.
There is no plant there. There are no jobs there.
I believe I got the raw deal out of it.
It was a waste of my time. It tells you a lot about Green Tech.
As you know, we've taken control of the International Paper Facility.
No, I don't think so. He definitely has not taken control of the IP mill site.
There's no pellet company there.
Don't try to fool people into thinking that you're something that you're not.
I'm creating thousands of new jobs, American jobs. I love doing this.
Dishonest. Pitiful. He knows better.
This story begins in 2009. Terry McAuliffe's run for governor ended in an embarrassing primary defeat. And just a year earlier, McAuliffe's chairmanship of Hillary Clinton's primary resulted in a historic, catastrophic meltdown. McAuliffe needed a reboot.
I love what I'm doing. I'm traveling the world. I'm a leader in the electric car market, a leader in the hybrid market. It's an exciting space to be in today.
Amidst the struggling economy, Terry McAuliffe promised Virginians a future of green job creation. He began a traveling roadshow, selling a fantastical business story to anyone who would listen.
I have done what no one else has ever done. I actually went to China and bought the biggest electric car company in China and brought that company back to the United States of America. So
on the surface, it sounded good. Buy a company from China and move it back to the U.S. to create American jobs. But it was too good to be entirely true. The Automotive News wrote, "Let's be plain. Terry McAuliffe's plan is dead on arrival."
now my corporate headquarters is in Tyson's Corner, Virginia.
McAuliffe claimed he would open an electric car factory in Virginia.
And they're huge job creators around. We will create jobs, thousands of jobs.
There was just one problem. Virginia development authorities were expressing grave doubts about McAuliffe's plan. In documents obtained by PolitiFact, officials discovered a troubling chain of financing. One official wrote of McAuliffe's grand plans, "This feels like a national political play instead of a Virginia economic opportunity." But Terry McAuliffe's Virginia Roadshow rolled on, like this appearance in Stanton, Virginia.
Well, we haven't announced that yet. If you read the paper, I'm saying that they're either going to be built in Tennessee, Mississippi, or Virginia. So you just let your imagination wander. But Obviously, I'm negotiating for a very, very large tract of land, and we got, until we're, you don't want to give it away too much, as you can understand that. $80,000.
In fact, Terry McAuliffe planned an elaborate grab for investor cash, leading straight to China, and hinging on a little-known company called Gulf Coast Funds Management. Its CEO, Tony Rodham, brother of then Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton. Tony Rodham's Gulf Coast Funds Management runs a regional center for a type of investment known as EB-5, green cards in exchange for cash investments. And Rodham's own website includes a handy step-by-step guide. A foreign investor commits $500,000 to be invested in the U.S. In exchange, Tony Rodham's company helps these foreigners receive green cards and potential U.S. citizenship for themselves and their families. McAuliffe and Rodham were engaging in what many view as a flawed scheme to raise money. A Washington Post editorialist called EB-5 a scandal.
That was going to be my next question, is where's the funding going to come from to see that vision fulfilled?
Oh, we've raised, we're in great shape financially. Yeah, I'm a big believer, get your money up front. But to be honest with you, Jan, it's not hard if you have a new idea.
Tony Rodham's personal role in raising EB-5 money for green tech remains unknown, but the two companies were close. So close that McAuliffe's Green Tech and Rodham's Gulf Coast Funds headquarters were right next door to each other. In fact, the directory at the front desk of Rodham's Gulf Coast Funds lists the primary contact as someone at Green Tech. In an email to Virginia development officials, Green Tech's chief operating officer confirmed they were sister companies. Internal documents from authorities in Virginia reveal serious concerns about McAuliffe's business, calling it a risky visa for sale scheme.
All the cargo ships are now here. My first plant I wanted to put in Virginia, but Virginia didn't bid on it. We have never bid on these types of things, which drives me crazy.
But PolitiFact calls McAuliffe's claim false. To some authorities in Virginia, it appeared McAuliffe was potentially putting the nation's security at risk, all to raise a quick buck.
They say, and I quote, we still can't get our heads around this being anything other than a visa for sale scheme with potential national security implications that we have no way to confirm or discount. In other words, they thought your business plan was shaky and perhaps a little dubious.
But that wouldn't stop McAuliffe. He moved his operation to a state where the Green Cards for Cash program was welcomed with open arms.
The car will be built at an old elevator plant in Mississippi. McAuliffe plans a new plant in another economically hard-hit part of the country, employing some 5,000.
300,000 cars a year, which should result in about 2,000 new American jobs here in this country.
That's going to be my next question.
McAuliffe's Green Tech Automotive leased a portion of an empty elevator factory in Horn Lake. A permanent factory was promised to Tunica, Mississippi, experiencing devastating unemployment rates.
I've been in this community all of my life. What drew me to Green Tech, I would say, just the love of cars.
Hopes of former Green Tech employees like Corey were dashed soon after they set foot in Terry McAuliffe's Horn Lake factory.
It didn't go as planned, as I thought it would. It was a bit of a shocker.
I believe it was just a big show to get money. They sell it to you like it was about the job, but look at it.
Terrison also worked at McAuliffe's car plant. According to these former employees, McAuliffe's company was not mass-producing cars. Far from it.
We came to work probably for about 3 or 4 months straight, doing nothing but sweeping the floor or painting.
For the most part, just act like we're busy. No, they weren't making. They had a prototype area in the back that they was kind of tinkering with the car, but as far as like most of the employees worked there, we just kind of acted like we were busy.
But McAuliffe talked as though Green Tech was already producing cars.
And in October, our first cars will roll off, all electric, and I'm proud to announce that today, we just signed a deal that our first-year electric cars, we're going to sell all of the first-year production to the country of Denmark.
But employees say in Mississippi, they only had prototype cars.
Well, you go to Green Tech Automotive, my company, our first car, as I say, will roll out on July 4th of this year, and we're selling the first 100,000 vehicles for $10,000.
In fact, some workers didn't even see a car for months.
When we finally got a chance to see a car, may have been 7 months in.
According to these workers, the atmosphere changed when investors were visiting.
I never saw an American investor in the building. It was always Chinese, Asian, you know, never an American investor.
Former employees describe a troubling charade.
They'd give us a phone call telling us that the investor had just got out the plane and everybody get in their position to get ready to put on the show.
That's what they would tell us, we're gonna have a show. They told us they was from China. And we even went far enough to ask the person, you know, don't you think that they're gonna know that we're not just building this car? And we were told they don't know the difference.
So they'll take like this group of Chinese and bring to like where I was working at with the brake lines. I'll actually be unloosing the brake lines on a car that we had built probably like a month ago and then actually tighten the brake line back up.
Yeah, we put on a dog and pony show pretty much. We set the line up with all the cars on it to make it look like we were busy. Yeah, when all the investors come in, we would act like we were working until they left.
And then once it was over with, back to cleaning the floors and stuff.
Even more baffling to residents of Tunica were McAuliffe's boasts of his sprawling Tunica car factory under construction.
So it's a great little story. 13 cargo ships later, we are under construction in Tunica, Mississippi, our first plant. We'll have several thousand employees there.
No, I don't know.
Meg Coker is the editor of the Tunica Times newspaper.
And as far as I've been able to tell, there aren't construction trailers or anything going out there.
But we've just broken ground on a huge permanent facility in Mississippi.
Terry. I guess he borrowed Harry Potter's invisibility cloak because I can't see it. Did you see it?
In fact, no one in Tunica has seen the facility Terry McAuliffe claimed was under construction. It remains an empty field, overgrown, desolate.
You mean here in Tunica? No, they did a lot of groundwork here, but no factory. Matter of fact, you can go up by the Methodist Clinic there in Robinsonville and see where they've done the groundwork. Grass have grown up there. Maybe there's another Green Tech somewhere we don't know about, because it's not there.
The empty field where McAuliffe promised thousands of jobs stings Tunica, Mississippi like an open wound. To those who pay taxes here, McAuliffe's promises came at a great cost.
If you can figure it out, let us know, because it is above my skill grade to find out what is going on here. What I do know is that it's costing Tunica County a lot of money, and there is no plant there. There are no jobs there.
You hear all the time that manufacturing jobs, for the most part, are gone for good. They're just not coming back. Why was it worth it for you as an entrepreneur to build plants in the United States?
What I've done is said we have 2 plants, as I said, in Mississippi.
I'm sorry for Terry, because that's just not true. Green Tech does not have 2 plants in Mississippi that I know of, unless it's someplace else.